Hi all, welcome to mazyworld.com. This is Karthik and today we are going to discuss about tables, listings and figures, which is one of the important topic in clinical SaaS. So based on the tables, listings and figures, clinicians will take the decisions how to perform the clinical trial, whether to continue it or stop it. So to basically check the results of the clinical trial. So we will start with the listing. Basically, the domain starts with DM, which is demographics. So we'll start with demographic listing first. So for every summary table, we have a supporting listing. So in each summary table, basically we have counts, percentages displayed. So to check whether this count is correct or not, we will go and check in the listing whether the count is correct or not. So basically this would support your summary report. So we'll start with the listing, basically a demographic listing. So what you are seeing on the screen is a basic demographic listing which displays the subject level information. So firstly, this is the mock-up for the listing. So we will read the title first. So what is the title here? Demographics and baseline characteristics. So demographics is nothing but the patient information display and baseline characteristics. So what are each patient's baseline characteristics? So what is his date of birth, what is his age, gender, race, height, weight and BMI, and to which treatment group the patient is being allocated. Okay, so this is the title of the listing. So we have title 1, title 2 and title 3. So the title 2 is ITT population. So this demographic and baseline characteristics is for ITT population. So ITT population is nothing but intent to treat. Okay, so the patients to whom the treatment is intended. Okay, so in the clinical trial, these patients are intended to treat. So they are going to treat these patients. Okay. So, and the third title is patients treated with irbesartan. Okay. So basically, if the study is open label, we will display the drug name like this. Here it is irbesartan. Okay. Basically, we will not display any drug names in the listings, but if it is an open label study, then we are allowed to display. Okay. So basically, we will not display any drugs. Right. So this is the layout of the report, which is DM listing. Okay. So basically what they want to see is the treatment group, site and patient, date of birth, age in years, gender, race, height, which is in centimeters, and weight, which is in grams. Okay. So they want a display like this. Right. So this is the layout. So we have seen the title as well. So we'll go with the coding. So now we have understood what the requirement is. So they want to display the treatment group, site patient, date of birth, age, gender, race, height and weight. So we have to check for the input data sets from which this information we can get from. Okay. So we will go for the data sets. Okay. So first we would create a library. Okay. Create a library for the input data sets. So these are the input data sets which we are using to generate this listing. Okay. So the library name is data. Okay. So we'll run this. So anything you run, you have to check the log first. Okay. There are no errors and the library is being assigned. Okay, and we will go for the library and check what are all the data sets we have in it. Okay, so data, so we have AE, CM, DMOG, dosing, end of study, lab. Okay, so we can also display the datasets like list, so that you can see all the datasets in one shot. Okay, so what would be the input datasets for this report? Okay, so as the report is for DMOG characteristics, so we have a dataset called DMOG here. Okay, so I'm opening DMOG. So we'll check what are all the information we have in it and what is required for us. Okay, so unique ID, which is really important. Okay, which will actually uh, identifies that particular subject. So each subject has its unique ID. Okay, the protocol number, site. Okay, so we have site and patient asked for the display. Okay, we have a date of birth, so which is also required. We have gender, we have race here, we have first visit, and which CRF page it comes from. Okay, so there is some information which we should display from this. So we have site patient, we have date of birth, we have gender and race. Okay, so we have how many variables? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so now we need treatment group, age, height and weight. So age we can calculate it by using first visit date and date of birth. So this is the visit on which the patient entered the study, the first visit. So we will just calculate the difference of these two dates to get the age. Okay, so age is also there for us now. So the rest of the variables are treatment group, height and weight. Okay, so treatment group we can get it in population data set. Okay, POP. So here we have also unique ID which will be present in every data set. Okay, here we have treatment group information. Okay, so what we are looking is a mock data. Okay, so there will be some dummy observations here. Okay, so let it be, but we will go with the concept. Okay, so this is the treatment group which we got from POP dataset. Okay, and one more thing is the title 2 here, ITT population. This report is not for all the patients in the study. This report is only for this ITT population. Okay, patients who are categorized into ITT population. Okay, so here we have a variable called ITT which has a value of 1 or 0. 1 indicates the patient is in ITT population, 0 indicates he is not. So we have to take only ITT population for this report. So in this dataset we need treatment group and ITT population. Okay, nextly we need the remaining variables height and weight. So height and weight are generally collected in vital signs, right? So we'll open vitals dataset. So here we have variables height and weight. Okay, so height is collected in inches, weight is collected in pounds, but we need a display of height in centimeters and weight in kgs. So we will convert this height from inches to centimeters and weight from pounds to kgs, right? So now we have all the information which is present in 3 different data sets. Some of the variables are present in DMOG, some of the variables are present in POP, some of the variables are present in vitals. So we'll combine all these data sets by pulling the required information Then we'll merge all the three data sets. Then we'll do calculations like age, height conversion, weight conversion. So we'll get the final data set. So that is our output. So which we're gonna display. Okay. So in clinical, generally we would get the final data set using all the data steps, so proc sort, merging concepts, functions, and some calculations and some formats. Then we'll get the final data set which we're going to display using proc report. Okay. So now we got the input data in data library. Okay. I'm just copying this data into work library. Okay. So for which I've used a procedure called proc copy. So proc copy will copy the data from in library to out library. Here the in library is data and out library is work. So I have executed the proc copy statements. I'll check the log. So the log is clear from errors and warnings. Right? Then I'll clear the log. I'll go to the editor again. So I'll collect the required information from different tables. Okay. So I'm using proc sort to sort the data set. Okay, unique ID is the variable which is common in all the three data sets. So that is the key variable to combine these three data sets. Okay, and in DMOG we have one observation per subject, so there will not be any duplicates. So I'm sorting DMOG dataset, checking the log. Then I'm sorting POP dataset, and while sorting I'm tweaking only the data which is ITT equals to 1, because our report is for ITT population, and I'm keeping only those variables which are required: unique ID, ITT, and treatment group, and I'm sorting it by unique ID. Even POP dataset has one observation per subject, so I'm sorting it, checking the log, done. So the next dataset is vitals, right? So here I need variables like unique ID, height and its units, weight and its units. Okay, so I'm sorting vitals as well. Okay, but in vitals we have one observation per visit. Okay, for each visit you have one observation. So if the study has 10 visits, so you have 10 observations for each subject. Okay, here you have one observation per subject per visit, but height and weight are generally calculated in first visit. Okay, so that's why I am taking the first visit data by using first dot variable. Okay, so here is the first dot information, right? So if you open the data, VS1, in which we have kept the required variables and sorted it by unique ID. So you can see here you have 3 visits, but you have height and weight values collected in first visit. Okay, so in uSubject ID group, the first dot observation is the first visit. So that is what we did here. So VS2 has one observation, that is the first visit information. So now we have got the required information from DMOG, POP and vitals. So now we'll combine all these three data sets by using merge concept. So merging is something we can do only if we have a common variable in all the three data sets, and the prerequisite for this is sorting all the data sets by the common variable, right? So an additional concept here is we are using aliases for each data set. Okay, so I'm doing a subset here. So I'm picking only the subjects which are coming from POP1. So B is the alias for POP1 here. So I'm pulling the subjects information which are present in POP, because POP is the data set where we have filtered the ITT population. So POP has only subjects which belong to ITT group. So while merging by unique ID, I am pulling only the subjects information which are present in POP1. Okay, so by which we'll get only ITT population information from all the data sets. Okay, so there are 41 observations in DM1, 36 observations in POP1, 41 observations in VS2, but the final dataset has 36 observations because the 36 observations are from POP1. So those are the subjects which are ITT population. Okay. So, and for gender and race, I'm creating a format. Okay. So by using proc format, I'm creating two formats, gender and race. So gender is like M equals to male, F equals to female, and race is 1 equals to Asian, 2 equals to African, 3 equals to American, 4 equals to others. Just a dummy kind of formats which I want to display here. Okay, so we'll check the log. So the formats has been output. Then we go with the calculations. Okay, so what calculations we have to do now? So we'll see the mockup, right? So we have treatment group which is present in POP. So we have site and patient in two different variables. Here we have to concatenate these two. Okay, site and patient is present in DMOC, and we have to calculate age in years, and we have to convert height to centimeters and weight to kgs. Okay, so all the calculations we will do after combining all the data sets. So the combined data set is DMPOP. So DMPOP has all the information which is required for our listing. So we will do the calculations. So the first calculation is site underscore patient, which is concatenating site with unique ID. Okay, so in unique ID, we'll open first DMPOP. So in unique ID, we have protocol number and the unique subject number. Okay, so here BH1503 is the protocol number and 10001 is the subject number. Okay, so we'll concatenate site with unique ID, that too the last 4 digits, right? So and the site is a numeric and it has values like 1 2 3 4 5, site 1, site 2, site 5, like that. But in the display they wants to display as 3 digits, where the site has 1 2 5 values, only one digit you have. So if you want to display as 3 digits, you can display it as 001, 002, 005, like that. So for that we'll do a format and apply. So now we have to concatenate site with patient. Okay, so generally to combine two variables, what we'll do, we'll use a pipeline which concatenates to variable. Okay, so site we are concatenating it with a hyphen, that we are concatenating with unique ID, and in unique ID we need the last 4 digits. So for that I'm using substring function. For unique ID it should take values from 7th position till 4 characters, and for site I'm applying put function because site is a numeric variable. You can concatenate only character variables, right? So if you have any numeric variable, you have to convert it to character first, then concatenate, right? So I'm converting site to character by using a format called z3 dot. So z3 gives a value like 001, 002. If you have value of 1 in numeric variable and you apply a z3 format, so it will give 001. Okay, and if you have a value of 22, it will give a value of 022, right? So you are concatenating site with unique ID, which is your output variable. So site concatenated with patient. Then you are calculating age, which is visit date minus date of birth divided by 365.25, because we have 365.25 days in a year. Okay, and I'm rounding it to 1 decimal and I'm converting it to a character by giving 5.1 format. Okay, so why I'm converting it to character finally? Okay, so in a final data set all the variables should be a character. Even if you have numeric variables, you can convert it to a character, which makes it easy to display your output. Okay, because a numeric variable can be aligned to right default. By default it will align to right, but a character variable you can align it to left, center or right. Okay, so it's better you convert your all variables to characters in the final data set, by which the display becomes easy for you. So if the output requires a center alignment, you can do it. If it is a right alignment, you can do it. If it is a left alignment, you can do it for a character variable, but not for a numeric variable. So the age calculation is done, which is the first visit, first visit minus date of birth. Okay, and next is height and weight conversions. So for which you have a conversion factor. Height into 2.54 is your conversion factor to convert inches to centimeters. Okay, and 2.2 is the conversion factor to convert weight from pounds to kgs. Okay, so this is the conversion of height and weight, and I'm rounding the values to 2 decimal points and finally converting it to a character. And we are also calculating BMI, which is not asked in the mockup, but we are calculating and keeping it ready. Okay, so for which what we are doing is weight divided by height square. So there is a formula to calculate BMI from height and weight. So I am rounding it to 3 decimal points, right, and finally converting it to character. And date of birth I'm converting it to character, right, by using a format. Okay, and for race I'm applying the format directly what we have created here. Okay, so by using put I'm converting it to character, and parallelly I'm applying the race format. Okay, so gender is already a character. Okay, So this is your final data set, final2. So I'm keeping all the required variables by using keep option in the data step. So we'll see the final data set here. Okay, so you have site patient, treatment group, gender, race, date of birth, weight, height. Okay, so there is no order here, right? So we'll display this by using proc report. Okay, so here I'm doing a small concept here by using end equals to end of file to create the last record flag. Okay, so this end of file option creates a flag variable called last rec and flags it with a value of 1. Okay, so this is just to flag a last observation. Okay, so final2, so there is a variable called last rec got created here and it has a value of 1 for the last observation, right? So we'll see how I'm using this last record equals to 1 in my proc report. So what is the importance of this last record flagging, right? So the final step is your proc report and the final2 dataset is your final dataset, which you can use it for the summary table. Okay, so here I'm using some global options like formchar to format your output with these special characters. Okay, and I'm giving a line size of 120 and a page size of 30. Okay, and if any missing values are there, I'm just displaying a value of 0 there. Okay, so these are the global options, okay, which will work for this session of SAS. Okay, so final2 is your final data set. No window displays a output in the output window. If not, proc report opens in a special window, proc report window. And I'm using a split character star to split our labels. Okay, so split character is used to split your labels in the output. So if the label should be displayed in 2 lines, you can split the label into 2 lines using star. You can use any special character here. And spacing equals to 2. So each variable in the output should be separated by 2 spaces. And missing option, headline and head skip. Okay, so headline will give you a header line and head skip will give you a one line skip. So after displaying the column names, right? So the next statement in proc report is columns. So where you display the column names in a order. Okay, so firstly I'm giving a line, then the variable names order, so that all these variables should be topped up with a line. So to get the upper line, I'm giving this. So you will get a line, then the output variables will be displayed, then the header line will be displayed. So the column names will be displayed between 2 lines. Then I'm using define for each variable and defining the variable attributes like label, grouping, alignment, width and formats. Okay, so how I'm using last record variable here. Okay, I'm not printing this in the output by using no print option. Okay, so how I'm using it is by using compute block here. So compute after every page, which is underscore page underscore, and this should be a left aligned. Okay, so how this compute block works: if not last rec, that means if not last record, then a continuation line should be continued. Okay, for suppose if your output has 10 pages, you have a 10-page output. Okay, and for each page in the last, it should be displayed that there is a next page of output as well. This is not the last page, so it will just show continued. So next page has your second page output, third page. So in the 10th page you have nothing. That means that is your last page, right? So if not last rec, you will display the continued keyword in the end of the page. Okay, else you will display a line, okay, to end it. So whenever you use a compute block, you will use end comp, and the title 1, title 2, title 3 and title 4, what we have: demographics and baseline characteristics, ITT population, and patients treated with irbesartan. So we'll run this, we'll see the output now. So this is your output. Okay, so these are your titles: demographics and baseline characteristics, ITT population, patients treated with irbesartan. Okay, and you got a upper line, variable names, and the header line and a head skip. Okay, and treatment group being grouped so that it will be displayed in the first observation. Okay, and all the values, then the next treatment group, then continued option, because I have given the line size of 30, so only 30 observations it will display per page. Okay, then the continued, because there is a next page of output. In the next place you have listing, demographics and baseline characteristics, ITT population, patient treated with irbesartan. So you'll get the titles again. For each page you will get the title, you will get the footnotes. If it is a last record, then you will not get the keyword called continued, so you'll get a line. So this is the end of report. Okay, so if it is a last record, you can keep a keyword called end of the report as well. So it is up to you, so you can do modification to this. Okay, as per the requirement, you can add some additions or you can delete something. Okay, you can do anything. So it is as per your requirement. You can add your special columns if any ad hoc thing comes. Okay, now BMI is not being displayed here. If they want the BMI to be displayed, okay, so you can add BMI as well. So as a special request, you can add BMI to the output as well. Okay, so this is your final output. So now you are seeing the output in the output window. You can send this output to a external file, okay, by using ODS. You can send this output to RTF, PDF, whatever. So if you're asked to give a RTF output, you can use ODS file RTF and the path file name. It's up to you, right? So this is how you do. This is basically a listing. So listing is nothing but a subject level information which supports your summary report. So this is your listing where you have each subject information. So the DM summary report displays how many subjects are there in gender group. So how many males are there, how many females are there, or in the race groups, how many patients are grouped as Asians, Africans, Americans and others, and respectively the percentages. Okay, and how many patients come in this age group, like 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 50, like that. And also descriptive statistics for numeric variables like age, height, weight and BMI. You'll display the descriptive statistics. So this listing will support your summary table. You can manually check whether the count is correct or not, right? So just remember, for every summary report you have a supporting listing. So without your supporting listing you cannot do a summary table. Okay, so if your supporting listing dataset is correct, then your summary table will be correct. So this is the first step to develop a table. Okay, so where you filter the requirement. So here you are filtering your observations for ITT population and you are calculating age, height, weight and BMI. So if this goes wrong, your summary table will be wrong. So this is the first step. So you have to be careful in pulling the data. So you have to know what are the input data set or what information you can get it from which data set, right? So what we have did for this listing is, so we have 3 or 4 steps here. The first step is you have to look into the mockup. So you have to read the title first. Okay, so based on the title, what you will do, you'll understand the requirement. So for what population this report is, right? So that is the first step. Then we'll look for what information they want to see in the report, what variables you require. So you'll see the variables. Then you'll judge, okay, treatment group. So this variable comes from which data set, right? So you'll read the titles, understand the requirement, it is for which population, then you look for the variables and judge from which data set you'll get this information. Whether it is a direct variable or you have to do some calculation or you have to derive the variable, right? So firstly you have to understand the mockup, then see the data, then do the coding. Okay, so first understand the mockup, understand the data, then go with the coding, right? So this is how we do the programming, right? So this is a simple listing, which is a basic listing for us. Then we'll go for the TM summary. So this listing will be your input for summary table. Okay.